Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 9 of the Deep Dive podcast. Today we're talking about a super hyper focused topic I like to call is now a good time to buy a condo in the San Gabriel Valley. There's a lot of points that we have to go over. We're going to be going across different types of perspectives and views. So I want to take you along this journey, and all I ask is that you be extremely open-minded, right? Really take all of these perspectives from a grain of salt. Yes, I'm a realtor. Yes, I could be biased, but I want to give you as unbiased of an opinion as possible. Generally speaking, what would I do if I were in your situation and in your shoes, right? So let me take a sip of coffee. It's real early in the morning here. Okay, let's do it. So first, yeah, of course, everybody knows, if you want to buy a condo, it's all personal. Only do it when you do it. It's your situation. It's all situation driven, right? We all know that. But let's look at statistically, is now a good time financially to buy a condo, right? So just going over the rates and pricing. First, San Gabriel Valley. I'm going to be specifically focusing on San Gabriel, California. It's kind of like the center of the San Gabriel Valley, so it's my easiest point. It's also where I specialize in. So condos at the moment are around what, 800,000-ish on average, depending on the type of condo you're looking for. Kind of like newish, move-in ready condos, 800,000 or more, right? Maybe 850. The price, a bit unaffordable for most, considering the average income is like 140,000 in San Gabriel, right? So it's a bit higher than what you'd like, but it's still doable. It's not like it's making you house poor by any means, as long as you live within your means outside of paying mortgage. So the price is the price. It is what it is. You can't do anything about it. It's not going to crash. Okay, we're going to get over that. Rates have actually gone down a lot. We're down to 6% mortgage rates. Okay, if you were to do a FHA loan, you might end up getting a 5.8, 5.7. Historically, that is low. Historical average of mortgage rates is like what, 6-ish percent? Because we had like 18, 19, 20% rates back in like the 1986, 87, when things are crashing with the Fed, and I think Green came into office. But that's a whole nother story, right? So the rates are just fine. They're not going to be the 2.5% everybody wants it to be, but that's never going to happen again. We're going to be stuck at these 4%, 5%, 6% rates, and you're just going to have to get over it. That's just what it is. Unless the government decides to increase wages to give everybody more money to afford it, that's how things will be. It will stay, quote unquote, unaffordable for most people. So pricing and rates aside, they're a bit average, okay? They're a bit higher than what you want, but they're a bit average. I would expect, with a 10%, 5% down payment, you're paying around $5,000 to $7,000 a month. HOA on average will be around $300. I would say is a good middle ground for most HOAs. HOAs or whatever, but mortgage rates and prices aside, things are great for you as the buyer. Like they're average, okay? They're not inflated, they're not down, they're average, they're fine. You can't ask for anything better. What people want to know is it a buyer's or a seller's market? It's a trick question. In San Gabriel Valley, it's always a seller's market for good property in the right location, right? I mean, if you're a buyer and you want a nice area to raise a family and you want all these amenities, you want things to be new, of course it's going to cost a premium. Of course there's going to be a lot of demand. But in general, for these first-time homes, it's a bit of a buyer's market for condos specifically, because insurance has gone up recently, nearly double. So for a lot of homeowners, first-time homeowners, who are making the average income of a household $140,000, they can't afford $850,000, save $80,000 in down payment, pay a 6% interest rate, pay double insurance, pay the HOA. It's too much for the average first-time home buyer, right? If you make $200,000 or more, you can afford a condo just like this. You'd be fine, right? So it's a bit of a buyer's market. A lot of inventory sitting out there, condos that are just not selling because people are not buying, because for the first-time home buyers, it's a bit unaffordable. For second-time home buyers, they're able to do whatever they want because they've built up equity. It's an investment, right? The earlier you invest, the more money and equity you'll have later on to purchase the bigger and nicer homes that you want to then live in for the rest of your life. So is it a good time to buy? By all the financial reasons, yes. Houses are sitting, you may, price reductions, you may get a good deal. Rates are average, prices are average. Home insurance is a bit high, but that's really the only negative that you can take from this whole situation. What I would say is that in the next 6 to 12 months, things will pretty much stagnate the same. I don't expect house prices to rise up crazy. In fact, I expect them to stay where they are. We're going to expect rates to come down a bit. But when the rates come down, again, demand is going to go up. There's a lot of buyers sitting on the sidelines saying, shit, it's so unaffordable that I can't buy. I want to have a house. I want to afford that. When the rates drop, they're going to get in the market. Even though that artificially inflates the price because of an increase in demand, they're going to get into the market because they just don't know any better. That's it. You can't change that. So next 6 to 12 months, you might see a slight increase in how much you pay in monthly payments if you keep in track, but there shouldn't be the biggest difference ever. So to answer my question, my take on is it a good time to buy? Historically, financially, yes. Right? You get in, you build equity, and you wait to sell and buy the next one. That's just how it is. The American dream was never built on the fact that you buy one house, you stick with the one house, and you never do anything after that. Now, the American dream was buy a house, sell the house, buy another one, refinance, buy another one, buy an investment, do this, do that, do that. It's always being proactive and always looking at things from different angles, right? So even though you can say that the inventory sucks and that houses right now are a bunch of old houses for overpriced prices, what are you going to do about it? You want to buy into the San Gabriel Valley, San Gabriel, California. It is the nicest area in the entire SoCal, right next to Orange County. People will die to live here. If you're going to buy a house here, it's going to be at a premium. It's not going to be necessarily crazy compared to historical averages, but it's going to cost a damn lot when you're buying, when compared to renting at least. So take that with a grain of salt. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Peace.